Good morning, everyone. We will now begin the morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters, asking God and Meishu-sama to protect and bless us as we participate today in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand. Takahara ni kamusumarimasu. Kaburogi kaburomi no mikoto mochite. Somemi oya kamu izanagi no mikoto. Tsukushi no himuka no tachibana no. Odo no awagi hara ni misogi hara itamo utoki ni. Narimaseru Maraido no Kamitachi Moro Moro no Magagoto Tsumi Kegare o Maraitamae Kiyometae Tomao Sukoto no Yoshi o Amatsu Kami Tsukamiya o yorozu no kami tachi tomoni ame no fujikoma no mimi furitatete hikoshime seto kashikomi mamaosu Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki ae tamae Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki ae tamae Oshie mi oyanushi no kami mamori tamae saki ae tamae Oshie mi oyanushi no kami mamori tamae saki ae tamae Gum nagara damachi haemase. Gum nagara damachi haemase. Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, the time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan, and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we lead your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan. Please be seated. We will now receive group Johrei. Johrei is now concluded. We will now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teachings. Gratitude. Humble as it is, my little home has changed to a happy paradise due to God's grace. How grateful I am. My home has become a little paradise in this world. Since we were blessed with God's divine light, my past, easily likened to a life in hell, has faded like a bad dream. I am now walking on heaven's path. Each thought and deed creates a radiation that is either positive or negative. So the width and brilliance of the aura is proportionate to the amount of positive or negative traits in the individual. When a person's thoughts and deeds are constructive, the inner being is at peace, and in this happy state emanates a greater light. When someone does something to help another, that person's gratitude forms light, which is transmitted to the helpful one through the spiritual cord. This increases both the width and the intensity of the letter's auras. I wish to remind those who are giving Johrei that the wider their auras are, the better the results will be, because the divine light then flows more freely. Also, since this is a two-way principle, the more people they help through Johrei, the wider and more radiant their auras become. This is due partly to giving this service and partly to the gratitude received from those who have benefited through it.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters. Today, I would like to share this faith experience that is related to the teaching today. It is from Tonino Emanuele. He is from the Cuneo province of Italy. Tonino Emanuele Loi lives in the province of Cuneo, Italy. He has been a Johrei member for some years, and he was once an atheist. He works in a construction company in Turin as a site technical manager. In recent years, his company has been experiencing economic problems, and for this reason, the payment of subcontractors and suppliers was not made on the established deadlines. The latter, in turn, carry out the subcontracted works and late deliveries of materials, generating inconvenience and problems of various kinds in carrying out the work and managing the construction site for which they are responsible. Also, Tonino was personally having a difficult financial time. One evening, on the phone with the personnel manager, he started complaining about the company's situation, and even went so far as to tell her that perhaps it was better to close some construction sites and keep some of the staff on a leave of absence. His colleague told him that he was wrong to think in this way, because closing construction sites would have made the situation worse. It was also thanks to those yards in difficulty and the revenues generated, albeit small, that it had been possible to pay employees' salaries on time. After the phone call, Tonino reflected on what he had said and remembered that despite difficulties, The company paid for his expensive dental treatments. And that one summer, the owner gave up his holidays to conclude transactions that allowed all staff to remain employed. So Tonino remembered the words of Reverend Tetsuo Watanabe, with which he recalled the power of the word thank you, and recounted the fatal experience of a restaurant chef sick with depression, and he was healed by voicing many times the word thank you. So he remembered in particular the teaching of Meishu-sama that says, gratitude gives birth to gratitude, and ingratitude creates more ingratitude. The next day, he held a meeting with the construction site workers and wrote the following open letter to all his co-workers. To all colleagues of the company Guerini Costruzione Generale, dear colleagues, I'm here to ask for a few minutes of your time to tell you what happened to me, with the hope that this will help and stimulate you. We are all familiar with the difficulties that our company is going through, especially regarding the payment situation of suppliers and subcontractors, which partly affect the performance of construction sites, which in turn are the source of our company's revenues. This situation was creating in me a strong sense of discouragement and a consequent renouncing attitude. Alas, without realizing it and without my willingness, this feeling was infecting my colleagues and my subordinates, with consequences for the general progress of the construction site that you can well imagine. Fortunately, yesterday a colleague of ours told me some things that made me think. Remembering a teaching by Meishu-sama that says, gratitude gives birth to gratitude, and ingratitude creates more ingratitude, I realized how much I was lacking in gratitude to the company, represented by Dr. Guerini, and to my own colleagues. In fact, despite all the difficulties that the company has gone through and is currently going through, Dr. Guerini has shown that he continues to believe in the company, in me, in my colleagues, and has never lacked bread for our families. If I have a roof, and in my case, even the teeth to smile, I owe it to him. Moreover, if you think about it, how many entrepreneurs would resist all the aforementioned difficulties with the same tenacity and dedication? Unfortunately, the cases in which this does not happen are more frequent. I understood that if my work, the work of each of my colleagues, is not indispensable taken individually or able to solve the current situation, rather my commitment and the commitment of my colleagues can help reduce the difficulties and the duration of this phase, which the company will overcome, I'm sure. I understood that by instilling dedication and a feeling of gratitude in my work, the result will not be long in coming. Today, during the lunch break at the Savigliano construction site, a meeting was held with all the workers present, in which I underlined what Guerini Costruzione Generale represents for each one of us. I'm asking everyone for collaboration and that together with me, we put in our work feelings of gratitude, dedication, and commitment. I humbly ask all colleagues who reflect on the above, and if possible, transmit these feelings to all company levels, and at the first opportunity, when meeting our boss, say, thanks, Dr. Guerini, for what you are doing. You can always count on me and my commitment. Thanks and good luck to all of you, my colleagues. So the results from this letter were immediate in the workplace, the staff in the following days worked with a different spirit. It seemed that everything was taking place with greater speed and order. Many of Tonino's colleagues called him to tell that they really appreciated his words and to thank him. The company's owner himself became aware of the letter and called him to tell that he really liked his words. From what has happened, Tonino has understood what has repeatedly been reiterated by Reverend Tetsu Watanabe on the summoning of gratitude, that mental attitude of gratitude, that gratitude is essential for our happiness and for those around us. He also understood that having always thought as a materially oriented person, he had committed the sin of ingratitude and had never given weight to all the blessings received up to now from God. First of all, life, including purifications, through which God has given him the possibility of perfecting and elevating his spirit. He has always been blind and did not perceive the many miracles that God works every moment for him. In fact, is there a miracle greater than our breath, of our heart beating continuously, of cells that multiply? He understood that in his prayers, instead of asking God and Meishu-sama to help him solve his financial problems, he must first of all feel gratitude from the bottom of his heart for all the blessings received and that he continues receiving. He should in fact ask God to help him to grow on his path to true faith, since his financial problems are nothing more than a reflection of his spiritual debts, his lack of faith, and lack of gratitude. Finally, a few years ago, he received a very big blessing. He met the Messiah Meishu-sama. An authentic miracle has happened. A glimmer of light has entered his soul, until then, in darkness. Before, he was so sure he saw well, but discovered that in fact he was completely blind. Even now he sees just a little, but with the help of God and Meishu-sama, his sight will surely improve. A few months after receiving his first Johrei, he managed to realize a dream that seemed impossible to him. He got a mortgage that allowed him to buy a spacious apartment with a beautiful view and the right furniture to furnish it. All the work needed to renovate it was donated to him by friends and acquaintances. Thus, with a minimum expense, since almost all the materials were donated to him, after 3 weeks of the house purchase, he was able to live in it with his family. In his family relationships, hitherto dominated by situations of conflict, now peace and serenity prevail. His son Luigi, who, in the opinion of a neuropsychiatrist who followed him, could not have gone to school before he was 8, to be optimistic. But after a year of Johrei, and at 6 years of age, he regularly attended the first grade with good results. For all the blessings received, he's engaged with his family in the daily practice of Johrei, making his home available for Johrei gatherings, so others can be introduced to Johrei and Messiah Meishu-sama. They participate in the Johrei Center activities and in the weekly gatherings in the home of other members. They never miss a single monthly appreciation service in which they have the opportunity to materialize their gratitude. Tonino is thankful to everyone, but in a special way to Reverend Carlos Lucio for his guidance and help in his, up to now short, journey of faith. That was a very nice experience from Tonino from Italy. I want to thank you for listening to these words today. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
This brings to a conclusion of our morning service. Thank you everyone for joining us and have a blessed day.